Well, just like that, the 2025 NFL Draft is in our rearview mirror, and straight out the front window of this car is the 2026 playoffs, and the Broncos are ready to make a deep run because somehow the second youngest team in football who made it to the playoffs with a rookie quarterback, 2 rookie wideouts getting tons of time, somehow you let that team get the most interesting player in the entire NFL Draft. We're breaking that down. We're clapping back at some of the haters saying we didn't get enough in this NFL Draft, and looking across the AFC West and way more in this video. If you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben. Helps me in the YouTube algorithm out a ton. If you like the Broncos, will you smash that like and subscribe button? All right, so obviously hopping in here, the most interesting player in the entire draft for me. Obviously, I'm mostly hyped about Za'Dai Jones. Like, that's going to be wild. I'm crazy, over the moon excited with RJ Harvey. But when we take a look at the most interesting player in here, we are talking about the Broncos picking up Caleb Lohner, a former college basketball player, an absolute Raz monster. So this is the thing where it grades you physically compared to every single other player at your position. And again, you're seeing a top 1% here that you are talking about a player who's only played college football, only played football 1 year of his entire life, and had 4 touchdowns last year, and just a absolute monster. So he's 6'7" with no shoes on. You put cleats on him, you were talking about a 6'8" guy with a 40-inch wingspan and a 37-inch vertical height, vertical jump on him. So you are talking about an absolute explosive monster here, and a player a lot of us, I think, are crazy hyped on because we know the last time that Sean Payton went out and actually took a former basketball player and put him into the tight end position, you were talking about Jimmy Graham, who ended up being one of the greatest tight ends to ever lace up a pair of cleats. Obviously, all the years we had to play against a guy who'd never played football really in his whole career, Antonio Gates, ends up being a monster. This is the perfect skill set for Sean Payton, and I don't think anyone will be able to develop that better than Sean has. He's already has the receipts showing like, hey, I've done this before, and I'm feeling like I can do this again. And I think that should get us crazy hyped. He's got the athleticism of knowing where he is in space, being able to box out, being able to go up for a rebound, a ball. He is a crazy athlete, and he is going to be a very big problem inside of the NFL red zone. Just thinking about looking at this play here, knowing that with his height, vertical jump, and his wingspan, Bo Nix has a 13-foot ceiling on where he can put the ball. So go out into your front yard and just throw a football over top of your basketball hoop. Like, that is how high this guy can go up and get the ball. And you just see, like, he literally knows how to just box out and seal out. And I think he is going to be a red zone nightmare. I don't know how often I see him play. Like, he might just be in the red zone package because he is so big there. And I think that is a very dangerous thing to have. We have a long history in the NFL of having guys who played D1 college basketball end up being incredible NFL football players. And so here he is. We're just seeing Jimmy Graham, that's Julius Peppers, Antonio Gates, the list goes on and on, because if he is the type of athlete who can be one of the best 5 on the floor for being on a basketball team, he definitely can be one of the best 53 on the field of an NFL football game. That was the whole debate. Could the best basketball player play football? There's no doubt in my mind that, yes, the best basketball player could play football because you are such an insane athlete to be able to do this. And as I think about it, I'm just getting more and more over the moon excited about the potential of him in this offense and just what this opens up for Bo Nix. When we talk, oh, we didn't get Bo Nix any targets. Yeah, we got Evan Ingram in the offseason. We got RJ Harvey, who's a monster. And then we got the future Jimmy Graham. This is incredibly exciting to me, and I'm just very excited about what that could be. Then the next position, the other thing that we got in this NFL draft that some folks are hating on is the Broncos did end up drafting a punter. And some were saying, hey, you probably could have gotten a punter as an undrafted guy. And by the way, the Broncos just cleaned up when it comes to undrafted free agents. And I'm watching all of this film, and I'm doing a video on all of our undrafted guys tomorrow. So make sure you're here for that. But the cool part about this is we got a punter out of Australia. So he's a mate. That's what you call him. Like, that's not a punt. This is a punt. And this guy has a absolute cannon for a leg, and I just am excited for what Darren Rizzi is going to do with this. Rizzi, our special teams coordinator, also has this history of finding guys who've played Australian football, played rugby, and have just cannons for legs, and gets them to come be his punter. And so that's what he did with the Saints. And the really cool part for me is like the athleticism here and just thinking what you could do with fakes and all of that kind of stuff on top of the fact that he just has a cannon for a leg. Looking here, this was at the Senior Bowl, I believe, and he's just dropping a 65-yard punt here. And really, if you take a look at his averages in college, he was averaging 45, 46, 47 yards punting. Part of that is just because you can't outkick your coverage, and the coverage game in college cannot get down the field in the same way. This was one of the ones that got me crazy hyped. Look at how long the ball is in the air here. The hang time of this ball, you want to talk about taking the head off whoever's catching this ball. You're talking almost a 5.5 second hang time on this punt for our new Australian kicker. And I think that is an absolute steal to be able to get that. And yeah, you maybe could have played it out and said, oh, I bet he'll fall there. But I love the fact that the Broncos are in a position now, you guys, where we don't need to hit home runs. Sean Payton has very specific needs for this team that already made the playoffs, and he knows better than we do. How am I going to fill this specific need? We are not the Raiders where we have to go out and make these splash moves and have guys who are going to carry our team. Sean Payton feels wildly excited about the core that we have and said we're a piece or two away, and he felt more prepped for this draft than any draft he's done as a Denver Broncos coach, and he went out and found the pieces that are specific for the holes that we had. Sean Payton all the time talks about building a team is like putting together a puzzle. Sean Payton knows what puzzle pieces are missing, and we have a puzzle that's 95% of the way done, and we needed like 4 or 5 pieces for that. And through free agency and through the draft, Sean Payton found the puzzle pieces, and so we should be excited about that. And looking here, I think that one of the big takeaways is that Sean Payton was not trading up for a running back. He wasn't even going out and trying to find a Henderson who he could have had. They could have traded up in the second and gotten Devaughn Henderson or any of the guys that they wanted, but he felt very confident in Audric Estime. In fact, reached out to Audric Estime's camp several times in this offseason and said, you are still our guy. And so thinking about what Harvey and Estime are going to do together is just crazy, crazy exciting for me. There's been a lot of people saying, oh, the Broncos settled on Harvey and he's small and not that good. He is essentially the same exact size as Ashton Jeanty. So all these folks saying that he is small, he's too small to be a good NFL running back. He's an inch shorter than Ashton Jeanty, who the Raiders way overdrafted with the 6th overall draft selection. And so I think all of that talk about us overdrafting there is definitely a moot point. And thinking if Sean Payton felt confident enough in RJ Harvey to draft him with our 2nd overall draft selection, he so rarely drafts running backs high, and the ones that he has done have all been all-pro running backs. So he's drafted Alvin Kamara in the first 3 days. He's drafted Mark Ingram in the first 3 days and Reggie Bush in the first 3 days. RJ Harvey is the first running back that he has drafted in the first 3 days. He's hit every other time. So let's stop doubting him. He has the receipts that he can turn a basketball player into a tight end. He has the receipts that if he loves a running back enough to draft them in the first 3 days, they're going to be good. And I just can't fathom all of the hate for some of these picks that we've done. I think another sneaky move here with RJ Harvey, great right up here by Zach Stevens on DNVR, is the fact that RJ Harvey, the reason he wears number 7 is he started off his NFL career as a quarterback. How many times did we see pretty inventive play calls last year where Cortland Sutton throws a touchdown pass to Bo Nix, and Bo Nix went up and mossed those guys against the Baltimore Ravens, one of my favorite moments of the season. And I think this brings in some sneaky elements there where not only is he an incredibly fast runner of the 40 time, he's got an incredibly explosive vertical jump. He's the same size as Ashton Jeanty. He had set records at UCF for running the rock. He also has a cannon for an arm as well, and that could be a really, really exciting thing. So when I think about this NFL draft, I think the Denver Broncos checked every single box. We are in fantastic shape for a deep playoff run because Sean Payton got the puzzle pieces that he needs, and that's something that we can all Bo-LIEVE in. Woo! Didn't even need Aaron Gordon to tip dunk that thing in because I'm so good.